And these are not my size, but here's shoes. But this has the hair on it. So these would be shoes for female in the winter, for a fan, very dressy occasion. This style being curled up with women's shoes. It comes from the old days they used to lock ends with it. This is Ellen and Ingrid, similar cradle board. So you hear the wood with this finally been preserved. A lot of the women take the children. This is Ingrid and her young Sarah, Lavo, and this is their calf mark. I followed them a couple weeks. Lavo, and you can see those that I showed you in the shed. And they're sitting, set up the fire. She cooked coffee, and she sat down. All she said, "This is what." This is your order from. I spent a couple of weeks, and what asked, what are you going to be hurting? Is I've learned this. Goals. I've learned it dance. I've learned it for a reindeer herder. But to be a today, it's very, very difficult to just be a reindeer. I will have a job, costs, gas, and equipment. It really isn't economic. It's regulated. But what he's telling me is that reindeers can continue. We'll have to. Then spent a lot of time. He came to the city. He's been reindeer, and on another day, came across horns on the dock. They started. I watched him approach the a few pictures. A man close to that had been a reindeer herd his entire life, had mattered in his life. Imagine how many this cycle of life is so natural. When I asked him, he had suffered. It took them to die of cold, and this is the earmark to see too. Their locked horn was his, and cut them off and to give.
Away. Explore the world around us.
Is wide square miles at 98, about a quarter for each of its 3,000. Cadillac 1. Nearly. This is the and when for fun and sport, rodeo. And first rodeo is in Jackson Hole Memorial Day. This rodeo, it's a Times dangerous way of it. The other side of the Cheyenne, Wyoming treasurer, the alumnus.
It's the first gun in the world that happened the right to an AT, a woman named Swain Caster in Laramie.
Inside Jackson, Wyoming, a trip that has been to many as the biggest in the United States. Line runs along and the mountain range. Proximity to the whole valley, literally at the city's door, expanse of the National Elk Refuge, full of elk migrating down to the winter, lingering in pasture land. Loves a perennial 72 weather. Their particularly in bright event as last or in the west. Wyoming long history. This state park, over 1 square miles, became the nation's first national park.
Yellowstone is the world's park. It's of the world's thermal features, hot springs, minerals. It's the largest intact temperate eco 48. We have where it's free. It's beautiful blues, and then the report bacteria. You get the yellow rays that beyond this bound spring. Faithful is most and geysers. It erupts 164 feet, as high erupts on an average of 4 minutes.
Elk, along with bird life, are near the road and located, but with sufficient visitor may be like the site of one. In Thermopylae, Wyoming, 8,700 gallons per minute of 127 degree. That's 2.7 gallons every 2 hours. Originally a cast along the bank of Bighorn and Spring State Park into a thermal reserve is the state's largest attractions, and the valley of the country's largest by the coming of the thrive and fertilized lawless by Cheyenne state capital of the town solid Pacific West. Wyoming's impressive first in power in the north of the state. The Black Hill Devil's Tower centuries served and services. Typically identified oral history of the Plains tribe, Bear Lodge, Devil's Tower gained prominence, monument. Over 1,000 people climbed the monument here. 160 and recorded history since the 30s has been scaled over 6 times. Low Bill in life, Western hero, the man of the West. Cody is not named after the Indian hunter, and he was metal informed community that bears it.
I'm Sun on the Sun, and this is VOA. Follow us on 54/way, Africa 54.
From the soul, it's music that describe it as dirt under its fingernails. It's music that's being somebody who's living.
In 7 immigration to prairies and swamps and a territorial group of friends from Nova Scotia society and cultural. This is a culinary tradition in South Central 8 farming communities born work, hard luck, a part of it by a and understood by work. We'll come back later for a closer look. Louisiana, the popular and papers loot trash. First community, quarter, rectangle 1700, a living museum, modern New Orleans. Get an introduction, one of the many.
Welcome to New Orleans. Part of the city, Andrew Jackson. He was the second named for Major President of the United States and a hero of New Orleans, and a $20 bill. Now where we are a few feet level, river just to sea level, but it's 15. We're sitting here on the bottom of a giant gum. It's because we're not swimmers of now and men 130. Also 22 persons keep the water continuously. And drain. Most of us here are street wharf. Usually boat. The natural area at this tall steamboat running. What we have here now is the famous boat 1870. It's the Robert 3.5 day. Up ahead from here to St. Louis statue up under. Each Canadian and he's Indian 7. Coming up on the New Orleans school.
He begins in 7 men. Little huts built in with French women, and there were women here. I'm sure was about having a pure gene and says, "Eyes for my friend." So he writes back, they're chasing out into the woods. The French telling you is true. I just passed. The French government a house election, 90 wife and that fool. See all this stuff. Expect the root.
When you have Ann to cook, great food.
It's a unique set about 1918, French Canadian, 1962, given to the Spanish. It's late New Orleans, rush here. Spanish at that time, you sweat. And administrators, 2 fires here, and the whole city built. And then in 1800, French again, and then sold to the United States. Big, well, not native, born here. So those are the native. You remember about history and song. In 1814, which is the war against to us late. Andrew Jackson, 18, these British groups, blah, 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 blah. All the time. And we got a serious end to fight here. We don't have, did you know, maybe Walmart for your supply. And Walmart, okay. So way down further, they have a Jean here named Jean the Pants. After that, it starts falling in place. Through a period of increasing wealth, a period we call epoch, which is with a 10-foot post. The buildings in the French during those boom year time. 1961, Garden District 4 of New Orleans, you all would call this. Which is a little, of course, but time, they pious and stay here the whole time. They don't, and we don't say, 1877, former Confederate. Why? As a 20 is much older than God knows, 70 approaches, actions like our friends playing with 2 broke. So indirect Yankees, because they left us always say we owe the French a desperate, broke, and so up, to which we still have today. We see French Quarter old areas in the city. That's where the French.
Here on the left, doorway there, the Great Fire of 1888. Center of the city burned about 850 were lost. And that's sure that you see quarter mostly Spanish. Fire happened were in power. Up ahead, ordinary cathedral of a fire would have gotten together bucket brigade, some of the buildings, because the church would not unconscious itself. Now that's now, and that's one was built for. Right next on the corner is the Spanish government now. So where the Louis. There's La Theater in the United States. Right next door, up on the 3rd state, where Tennessee when he wrote Desire. In fact, the Desire ran right up ahead of Wall Street. Now people, Molly Williams slept here. Tell you, I understand everywhere. Slept there. Bourbon Street. Now this is here during the time. They actually down these so the people don't go on the balcony. And right now is this Fantasyland chat. Well, that's where you can hear tonight. They'll open up.
Bourbon Street out here. Veritable circus play starts to at night. New Orleans for tourists each year is a amazing, spontaneous vibrant for everyone. There's something here. Jackson Square and in for buggy tours and entertain around the square, presenting them.
What I'm doing sort of in it with the visual, the impression, realize that not exist if the subject, so they also light, hate anything. And what I do is I'm at a subject, what I eat, as opposed to in different, some very, very bright, some soft, but I sort of areas I don't is in a right intensity range. A little bit of a method to the madness. And it's entertaining when I paint. And I like to be, so that's why
Must stop and beignets and be at the cafe. Come on.
We're at the cafe. Very good. I'm going loading for the man.
Cafe du Monde Market, French Market. It stretches a farm market with arrows. Jazz of its most like Louis Armstrong's They, Buddy Young, Sidney King Oliver, still happening. They roll Morton for Century. Clubs like the of Jazz continue on ramparts, developing style, and young players like
that we are St. Charles 35 and drawing call, and then 96 third system in the electric car prior to that horse drawing. The car that we're on right now was St. Charles Cruise operating the oldest continuous line in the world 35, and we've been this ever since. Intend getting out. Cars are all travel cars. And, keep a view for St. Charles. Look, you can come down and see something new because and every time a new house or something that leans on the house, it's really interesting through this part of
the line past beautiful city. Is the second largest port on the Gulf in the world. States and river from New Orleans in Indiana. Now championship boxing match 1870. The Bear had a 21 by Judd Dollar purse. Pontchartrain, Honey Island Swamp, the direct best producers in North America, least all since
into some not moving. The water's a little warm. Okay, now the gray you see in the trees, moss. The gray color is turn the boat around so you 7 feet long. Those are now both of those look maybe a little bit of two of them. The 8.5 get 14 to 16. I hope that's not one of those more stretched out on the land. What I mentioned on the left over here, where those camps where the land from. The land is on state property camps. Part of the 30 acres where these camps.
Nature roadway. There's a loop, Southwest Louisiana, passes National Wildlife Refuge, a host of communities, Cameron Parish. It's a really nice way to see a unit of one of only in the United States, and chosen as for the unique West Louisiana. We have migratory species in the area. We have unique emerging ways for flyways. You get all it's birds. Wonderful area. Really look to come to Southwest the Creole Nature Trail National Wildlife. Say, can I see an where can I see an? I've never seen wildlife. They've seen them in number one family, and they won. We send them to the 1.5 mile wetland walk trail we have here, and marsh people through an improved area with a board. And there's generally a spring in the sunny days later, on higher ground, maybe trail. Year-round, we have a lot of birds. We have roseate bills, we have white blue heron, many type birds, birds, and migration. Waterfowl, we get spring, tropical. So there are birds, ones that are coming. We have hundreds of birds. To South, you have no way that you can, no matter where you are, at least see a bird in here. And glossy eye and ibis. Two dark versions. See in the we have white, so you can ibis here. And they're unique, dark ibis feeding and out
and they'll serve bills down bin and vertebrate bill to the which I recently shoveling vertebrates and food, filtering the water, specialized bill, hence the
Indiana. Of course, when you look at the natural name, of course, our Canadian was a and how that spell pronunciation. We were occupying, I'm sure the Spanish territorial versions over the course has been referred as natural. And people pronounce it, just how you pronounce it. Come here and just the hospitality, just don't care. So, however you it's fine. 107, this body, the Red River water, and you can still see levees came through the founder. Saint could actually go. There was a jam, a great raft. It stretched toward the end is now. At that point, 17, Saint here at what Red River, the French that we love as forts. But his doing that, and that establishing here to guard, leaving some provisions, makes Natchitoches permanent yearment in all of the territory. This we call the bricks that you see here on Front Street, right on top of actually laid down casts that were here. There are over 100 years that were put down. And right here with the cask until established in 1803. One retail store since about the 900s. Really
Frederick store. Frederick General. We've been here in Natchitoches, 63. French settlement is the oldest purchase. Fortunate being the oldest city. In fact, around in 1930s and in 1902, because of the Depression, if the business modern operate at Depression, and through the 30s, 40s, grew to be the largest. In 1920, my grandfather's store as a he was interested in the business, very little formal education, had an 8th, was very street smarts, savvy as far as named Kathy brother, the second generation, and cousins, I'm sorry, they continued business. Second Kathy grandfather eventually business partner from paper to
Luke's father,
manager.
After serving in the war, 23, and now he run this remarkable discount hard variety. Frederick, in this time, comment on how against such conduct.
You do what you have to do. In time, the observe the just here in a stall contract. Just this is the way it's going to remain. We hear the just people walk in. Have a door like that, and it's encouragement, not route Ace. It's in the Home Depot value hardware. Slick, fun. It's fun to stores in people's face. It's help someone when that you make their friends in of houses themselves. You can help get when they're unable to get something fixed here when it's that's just what we do.
Dad started a recipe, and he eat stuff for. He was a bookman in the home to get them, so he doing his own. What he came out. We've been selling. We've been doing it 7 years. This is what Natchitoches are. Just of 80% the meat pie, 80% pork, seasoned, crust, and we deep fry. Made anywhere from 1,000 dirty rice. We usually make from scratch. Order it with our red and rice. Breakfast. We also
We're at Edmond, Tabasco. My family, 130, started by great-grandfather Edmond Tabasco, and product 1860, making years ago, same place.
The Tabasco name and spot. A family of 5 generations. Avery.
We between Avery and look at them, just come to go and wear tobacco. We love to see them. So the fact that they do. We're not really sure Avery Island, but it does. Soil, this is such something to do with salt underneath. It makes a soil for peppers here. So we're no problem. Tabasco pepper, we have no way to push. The peppers turn yellow, start to grow green, and then you add and bright red. And we this because for control the color, pepper and pepper doesn't all ripe together. So we can only push doesn't just pepper. Off we keep picking for 2 to 3 months, going back through this pepper. When we only pick pepper, we grind that mash and we put some salt in with 50-gallon whiskey barrels. We put it in whiskey. We take the of them that they use a dark color. We deal the steels and use steel because then we age our mash in our warehouse for up to 7 barrels. Sit with vinegar and solids off, and we're left with Tabasco. We use a liquid. Most people say. We do 160 countries in over 20, and the most food widely recognized in.
Gardens on Avery Island of E.A. Henning.
He is trying to save that from extinction. He gardens and did value here. He was a stationist. Really knew what to do. Early part of the scene hunted to extinction to make ladies the snowy, beautiful plumage. Were very popular, very stylish. E.A. went to marshes around, picked up, gathered Stilton egrets for him, and he let them to where they could fly. That originally, we 10,000 a year that come back, hatch out there before they might.
Crowley, Southwest Louisiana.
Is in this part of in the rice fields in the basin area. We'll start cropping. We'll field harvested August. Start vegetation go back after, and we'll see the fields in October. Around we do have rice and where this of South Louisiana will have after that being cropped that so. In 2 years, then the next year it'll go to rice with soybeans. All a little 20-hour several hot on it, and then propel the boat is also you want to turn to the right, turn to the left. Leaves your hands to do in and putting it down with your hand. Crawfish will live if they're here. All the vegetation, all the fish, all the worms, just eat anything that's out. They'll like certain they'll eat on that gone, they'll go to something else. But these fields, all the vegetation come May or June. If you don't have any crawfish, now vegetation, but it's rot in also, but vegetation. But the crawfish literally eat everything.
March is a big celebration in Louisiana for a cup of Betty's RV. Perfect example of a local party.
First of all, I'll bring you back to 1980 for the. You remember 81 we were in the oil fleet industry, and we extremely hard hit the oil due to high income for the city. So we purchased the theater. I had to have a Saturday night show with a 4 limited cage of players, sound system, and have a good acoustic, actually music. I thought, first of all, for buying that, would we do that? I think that some Eunice, Louisiana, listen to cases, alcohol, especially in the pumpkin, was allowed, and no popcorn improved. Thank God now comes people from proving them wrong in the world, and dig people like you people who bring the message about what's unique part of the French-speaking states, which is part of the almost unheard. Now, I guess we draw in all over the world. Come to listen to our music every Saturday.
The American National Park Service, adjacent to the Liberated Cultural Survival, and at the same time one of the leading preserving and Cajun music.
That notice when music is a singer really straining up at the high end and be heard over it was pathetic. We appreciate who sounded like they were moaning, they were crying, their music is an experience. Well, I think that's only true of anybody's music. Cajun question of I think where playing was formed, their music that was hadn't been. I think they could have played walking by well did what they were doing. And it all expresses the psyche of an entire. So I think it's a collective in Christmas to.
Renewed Cajun culture, Mardi Gras, and to grow. 15 miles, call it, countryside, 3,000 horseback, cows, entertainment, and general.
Not to confuse Mardi Gras, Cajun culture. Mardi Gras is a component of kind. It is designed to turn inside, to turn to reverse. I've seen a lot down to the Cajuns do, and it's time to be here. Fooled, martial thing. Next day, ashes. All those people that have to work, ashes on their heads. Where this music that produces. Mardi Gras, of those of our society was little and people in Mardi Gras in the same that people that would on the route. But a community bush up, if your roof got hurricane, they were the people who would hold it back up. Your people run Mardi Gras is among their own. End as a mask full otherwise recognize the identity of some masked person. Where you would function, recognize and ask on, so you're not play a role. You can go and the homeowner with her, it's the homeowner, and a Mardi Gras tagging saying you're one of us, you're one of Mardi Gras today, asked begging the house and perform that dance, improv, just making people crazy, laugh. What they're getting is gumbo, something more valuable, because eggs were give a chicken away, food things were earned for this so giving a chicken as donation. What the Mardi Gras procession, a moment of the homeowner, dark, old, a hat where feeling wonderful, and
Georgia City, in 17 James Oglethorpe. It has evolved South and hospitality.
Find history, culture, night art here. 1933, who founded the Buffer, Florida. The city of grids, which allow 21 public. River Street, the start of appeared at River Street on the start. It was started Bluff, anchor, and said first took here part of the factory trade, which is very important. Cotton was king. Our economy. It's once a cotton warehouse throughout.
A crier from the city market.
All the cotton.
Savannah's first, established in 17th Black Church, Savannah 77, the home of who founded Scouts of America. From the rural farm peanuts, this famous cart were in the peanuts hometown company with house and headquarters family agribusiness started by the father in the 30s. President still lives here in the community. Historic.
And really national historic, the whole town, and we're very full of planes. The picture of this plane gave to the president in Plains High School, main museum, and exhibits President Carter lived in today, which is close to as
Georgia's largest planet is Centennial Park, a landmark and the Olympic recognized. The Olympic High that continues to rise. Center for Commerce in an expo before the Olympics received gross in 86. Here too, headquarters for a company that forever changed the history of television. The most significant known mountain in the park, landmark in Atlanta, the world's massive expo, 83,820 high. Piece of the park, face of stone surface area, another largest sculpture, the Rose, Jefferson D. and General Jackson. Just east in the Georgia city of Cleveland.
Hospital actually that the 19 served the Appleton community here in the area. Today it's changed. Now it's a different type of hospital. And their Cabbage Patch Kids are up for are some, and they look earlier. We'll see them today. Some of these, and as we adopt 20. So the beautiful, so we would call them, they have.
Is the beginning of the Appalachian, just western terminus in trail. Markers for this archer sign in the 2,100 mile or east of Amicable Falls, 29 feet east of the Mississippi. The
great rice ingredient. It's got rice. Rice is an ingredient, but raised commodity to between and crustaceans.
Check the menu at Swan Restaurant and Cafe and the cage of all raw fish written on the wall in bags and bites, all farms, and right in the middle of the store away. harvest some 6 rechard. It's about pounds of tiny seed.
Is brown rice.
This is the exact same thing that's in for them. Then it'll go into all the rice mill.
And a farm of rice, $300 million in the state country, and a billion crop at the rice mill. Crop will be transformed.
Seed is
Against.
lack of a better, this is practically rice.
There's your rice.
Rice is here. White rice, they'll just take the brand.
Question comes kind of rice farm, but that engineering
That I wanted
future.
to go out and be a farmer any longer. You laughed at me. Feed the world, huh? I didn't want to.
Feeding the world now includes baby. Christian and are expected.
So we have a year to.
In addition to their has also focused on the row crop world. For
did this, they don't realize that when Haiti needs the were shipped a barge of rice. This group of farmers usually, ask them from across, they usually pull in that.
Yes. And just starting to slant what about here? Kids you showed me.
Yes, the shed, it's until much later in the production.
There's a piece of rice. And this will grow into large stalks that go how high?
40 inches.
Interesting, the farming in Louisiana are not only used, they are crawfish.
Christian, he grabbed, dumped crawfish. They put bait in, they throw it. It's amazing. Months ago, what's coming out, it's full of crawfish.
Shellfish, farmers see their work part of their country.
So much more productive, and we're still being good man and
to the country.
We're helping out people that in terms.
You're so much more than that. Drive to find technology and to use it. It has to come from the
वेलकम टू फैज़ रहमान अटकर है और हमारे साथ में हमारा मौजूद हैं तवील अर्स एक असर हो रही है जिस पर रीजन के लिए और नॉर्थ अमेरिका में वाले लाखों लोग वाबस्ता हैं और मेरी नफ़ीर राम आर्यन पंजाब अमेरिका बानी रूह हमारे साथ हैं
जनाब बहुत आपने मुझे यहाँ पे बुलाया बात का मौका दिया
जो करना चाहिए कि ने एक काम शुरू किया जिस आप अदब की और मुतासिर किया है एक काम शुरू किया वेबसाइट काफ़ी अहमियत रखा एक वंडरीज ऑफ ये कि ये वेबसाइट क्या था क्या मोटिव
ओवरऑल लेंगे बात
ने इस काम
अगर मौका में तफसील से लेकिन इसका जो काम है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ये दरअसल तो पंजाब ने कहा हम कोशिश मुमकिन हो सके हैं कि पंजाबी स्क्रिप्ट यानी
कि हिंदुस्तान में और वो
हिंदुस्तान में लिखा जाता है बहुत रिलेटेड मटेरियल हिस्ट्री में काफ़ी के बारे में ख़ास तौर पे हम चूँकि चीज़ों के ज़माने में बहुत इसके अलावा उर्दू में चीज़ें ऐसी दरअसल क्योंकि पंजाब हिंदुस्तान की तारीख तो बहुत सी चीज़ें रिलेटेड हो जाती तो जो पंजाबी की
तारीख को पाकिस्तान की तारीख से
हम
उस तारीख से
हमारी क्या है कि ताकि आपके ऊपर बन जाए जहाँ कहते हैं
कितनी किताबें
इस वक्त तकरीबन 800 के करीब हैं लेकिन जो है वो चंद हज़ार है कम से कम
किताबों में
काफ़ी वक्त
अदब पे कितनी तारीख पे कितनी कोई आपके एक मकबूल देते हैं इस पर आप ज़्यादा तारीख है
और इस वक्त कि मैं आपको बता इस मौजू पे क्योंकि 2 पंजाब हर एक की अलग अलग फिर उसने कहते किताबें अलग हैं लिटरेचर के अलग हैं पोएम अलग हैं कि तो
जो अदब ज़ाहिर जब ज़बान की तरक्की बीच के लिए काम जाती है अदब ऐसा मौजू है जो सब उसमें है ये बताइए जा रहा है कितना हो रही है कैसे लिखे शायरी इस लोग अदब कैसे बोल वो चाहता हूँ कि आप
खुशी से उस पर लेकिन ये इन सवालों के मुश्किल सारे पंजाब वालों को पढ़ने वालों को पंजाबी से मोहब्बत आती है वो ये है कि ना पढ़ाई जाए भी पढ़ाई गई जुबान पंजाबी लोग थोड़े हैं अदब की बात कम है दूसरी किताबें करें पर वो रकावट सामने आ जाती और हमारे ख्याल में ये पाकिस्तान ایجوکیشن پالیسی ہماری کے کو اسکولوں میں کیا تھا جو اتنی بڑی زبان کے لحاظ سے تو ہندی کو چھوڑ کے ہندوستان میں تیسری بڑی زبان والوں کی تعداد میں پورے برے پاکستان میں تقریباً 60-65
انڈیا میں سب
لوگ یعنی بولتی. اب یہ کیسے بیک گراؤنڈ اسکولوں میں نہ پڑھانا. اگر آپ اجازت یہاں سے شروع ہوا, اگر آپ انڈیا ابھی کی تاریخ دیکھیں جتنی دیر یہاں تو تقریباً 11ویں سے 18 تک, تو ہندوستان جو لینگویج تھی, جو پاور تھی, جو دربار میں لینگویج تھی, جو سرکارہ کاروبار ہوتا تھا,
جی ہاں,
اتنا عرصہ صدر انڈیا میں حکومت رہی. اس میں تبدیلی 1837 فارسی کا انگریزوں اور اس کے بعد سرکاری درجہ ختم کر دیا. مختلف لوکل
نافذ کرنے
نظام تعلیم پنجاب کو دیا گیا. اس کی کوشش کی, اس کی بھی ایک اس کے پورے ہندوستان کو 50 قبضہ ہے تو ڈیسائیڈ کیا کہ میں اسکولوں 49 میں جو حالتوں میں سرکار دے گی. اس میں خیر ایک اردو تھی ان کے جو اور جو بھی وہاں سے اردو اسپیک وہ نارتھ انڈیا تعلیم اردو کی مسلمانوں میں خاص طور پہ کہ اس طرح کی بھی آپس میں مسئلہ تھا. بعد میں 19 کے پنجاب چانسلر تھے تو یہ ہندو تھے, انہوں نے ایک کہ بھئی خاص طور پہ مسلمان مخالفت
ایسی بات کی وجہ سے پنجابی کو نظام تعلیم
بہت
بنایا جا سکتا
نے کیا ہے چکا ہے. ان کی لینگویج پنجاب کی لینگویج بننے کے بعد ہے نا, پنجاب اس پاکستان پہ تھی ساری بروکریسی جو تھی تو پنجابی چھائے اور وہ جو تھے نا وہ ایسٹ وہاں پہ ہے کہ 53 میں ہنگامے بھی پاکستان میں بھی سندھ بھی اس کی جو تھی تو نیشنل جو ہمارے پنجاب زبانیں تو انہوں نے پاکستان کیا اور یہ کہ پنجاب میں اس کا پنجاب کی زیادہ نہیں ہوتا. لگتا یہ ہے کہ دور ختم ہو 17ویں ترمیم باقاعدہ پاکستان ہو چکی ہے. صوبوں کے پاس بہت پروینس یہ بھی ہے جو چاہے تعلیم بنائیں صوبے کی حد لوکل زبان بھی رکھ سکتا ہے. حالانکہ وقت آگے ہے کہ ہمارے جو ماہرین اور یہ وہ ہیں کہ بھئی یہ زبان سارے سکھاتی ہے, ایک زبان دنیا ہے تقریباً 1000. دیکھیں اگر آپ فرید کے زمان شعر پڑھیں اور وہ بڑے شاعر تھے صدی تھے مطلب تعلیم تھا لیکن زبان میں کی محفوظ بابا شاعری پڑھیں محفوظ کر دیا. بابا فرید زمانے میں پنجابی اور اتنی دوسری بات اس مقام پر پنجابی کا آ رہا ہے تو یہ وجہ مجھے نظر آتی کہ زبان کو اسکولوں میں نافذ وہاں پہ ایک عجیب ہم سوال رہی ہے کہ پرائم انگلش کو یہ فیصلہ ہو اسکولوں میں تعلیم انگلش ہو اور پڑھانے جائے بین دنیا کے تعلیم سے بات کہ پرائمری اسکول اپنی مادری داخل ہوتا ہے اس کی ذہنی تعلیم دینی چاہیے کہ جب بچے جماعت میں پرائمری اسکول میں یہ ہیں سے 5000 تو ان الفاظ تک میں زبان بول رہا ہے وکیبلری سوچنے کا انداز آ چکا ہوتا ہے. میں ایک دوسرا آپ اس وقت وہ آپ اس
مخالفت کرتے ہیں
دور کریں گے تو نہیں انگلش بلکہ پنجاب میں پرائمری اسکول سکتے ہیں
پنجابی دونوں
ساتھ پڑھائی جائے لیکن جی وقت اگر آپ کے کیا مطالبہ ظاہر لیکن اگر وہ ہے آپ تو پڑھانا شروع کریں پنجابیوں کو پڑھنا آئے اس کے ساتھ جب آپ مڈل سوچیں پنجابی جو ہے اس کے ساتھ لازمی مضمون کو چاہیے ہماری نیشنل کسی کو وہ تو قومی مطلب نہیں پڑھانی چاہیے.
ٹھیک چھوٹا سا بریک لیتے ہیں میں نے بریک لگایا جائے لیکن بریک لیتے ہیں اس کا سلسلہ شروع کریں گے یہاں سے آپ ختم کی رہیے دوبارہ تو پلیز سفیر راما
پاکستان والے لوگوں کا اردو ہے لینگویج اسکل لکھنا آتا ہے انہوں نے کلاسیکل مہارت بھی بہت لکھنا بہت ہی کم لوگ.
ویلکم بیک کیفے ڈی سی دیکھ موجود ہیں جناب میں ہوں فیض رحمان صاحب اکیڈمی آف آپ نے کہا اس میں گفتگو ہو رہی تھی کوئی حرج نہیں ہے پنجاب میں دوسری زبانیں زبان وارث لیکن آپ کے پنجابی ایک جائے کا ایک بیسک کام دیا جائے. اس میں ایک سننے والے کو کوئی کی گنجائش ہماری باتیں سن رہا ہے تو وہ نہیں آتی, جس کی وجہ سے شروع کے دور فوجی پہلے ذکر کیا, لیکن اب ایک عوام حکومتیں آ چکی ہیں اور ٹھانپ دی جا چکی ہے, ترمیم پاس ہو چکی ہے, تو اس کے بعد سے ایسی چیز اور بہت ہی کم از کم یہ اس پر یہ تبدیلی کر سکتی,
کیونکہ پچھلے تو یہ ہے جو پڑھائی جا رہی ہے پاکستان کی جو وہ اردو سیکھی, اردو کا کلاسیکل مہارت ہے. بہت کم لوگ, بہت ہی کم لوگ یہ جو لکھنا یا پڑھنا آپ کرتے ہیں, جو آپ کوشش کریں گے آپ اسی جائے, کیونکہ آپ
روزگار وابستہ
کنٹینیو. دوسری طرف کا بھی ان کو کہ ہم نے پنجابی نہ, دو چیزوں کا خیال ہے کہ اگر سمجھ آ جائے نہ پڑھانا کتنا ہے پنجاب کے لیے, شاید لوگوں کی توجہ لگے نا اس طرف کی سرمایہ ہوتا ہے صدیوں کا, کیونکہ اس کا دانش سب چیزیں محفوظ ہیں. جب آپ اپنی چھوڑ دیتے ہیں پوری تاریخ اور اپنی پوری سے آپ لوگ کٹ سے ان کی اور ساتھ ہو رہا ہے, بلکہ یہاں پہ پنجاب کے نہیں پڑھائی جاتی. تو ہمارا ہیں اکثریت پنجاب میں جو پنجابی نہ ان کو اپنے ورثہ ہے نہ اپنی کا پتہ ہے, زبان اسکول میں ہر جگہ طرف اردو کو یہ دی جاتی ہے, گفتگو کرتے ہیں شروع ہو جاتے ہیں کہ پنجابی کرتے, اور کسی تو آپ کلچر کو کھٹیا زبان کے اپنی کر دیتے ہیں کو ہر چیز کو, جس کے نتیجے پنجابی ہونے میں نے بہت کہ لوگوں میں تو آج کی پرائڈ پنجابی ہے بلکہ کہا جاتا ہے 65 ہے وہ اپنی زبان اور اپنی ملک اپنے لٹریچر کوئی اچھی بات نہیں.
راما صاحب دیکھیے آپ کے جو ہیں جو اختلاف کے ہیں
جی
اتنا مشاہدہ ہے, میں یہ دیکھا ہوں کہ اس وقت زیادہ سمجھی اور اس وقت جو آج کل جو میڈیا کے جو ایکسپوژن ہو بہت ہی ایک ہیں بہت کچھ ہے یعنی اس چل رہی ہے. اور پھر دوسری بات اگر آپ جب پنجاب اکٹھا ہوتے ہیں زیادہ جو پنجاب کی وجہ آپ کے خیال میں پاکستان سندھ کے لوگ ایک ڈائیورس پاکستان کے لوگ جب آپس میں 5 لوگ بیٹھے ہوئے ہیں والے تو کامن لینگویج کا رابطے مجبور ہے نیڈ. اچھا سوال یہ تھا جو میرا ہے کہ اس وقت ایک اگین جو کہ ایک عام اردو کو کے طور تسلیم دیکھیں, اگین میرا اردو اس معاملے میں کہ ایسا بڑے بڑے شعرا ہوتا ہے کہ پنجاب سے پہلے بڑے بڑے نام اس طرح سب کو عصر حاضری پنجاب سے ہیں, اردو کی تمام چیز ہیں انجو مشاہد تمام. آپ کے خیال بیک گراؤنڈ ہے خصوصاً لاہور سے ہے جس کی وجہ سے لوگ اردو یہ نہیں کہہ رہا ہوں کہ اس کی وجہ سے پنجابی کو اگنور کیا جائے, زیادہ توجہ دے رہے ہیں, لیکن آپ اس ویڈیوز میں
آپ دیکھیں کیا ہو رہا ہے, جتنی دیر تو پنجابی کا پڑھا تک تو ہمارا مسئلہ بین ہے, ٹھیک ہے, لیکن تو قسم کی زبانیں بول میں ہندی انگلش بھی ڈیولپ زبان جیسی بھی ڈیولپ ہوگی, نہیں کہ وہ لیکن اصل زمین سے دیکھیں زبان پہ رہتی ہیں وہ اس کی دوسری زبانوں کے ساتھ پڑھتا
تبدیل ہوتی ہیں
زبردست کو چینج نہیں کر سکتا. میں جو ہو رہا ہے وہ دستی ہے. پاکستان بھی کا ایک لفظ اردو پڑھایا جانا, بچہ اسکول میں اردو میں کرے آفیشیل پروسیس زبانوں کا دیکھیں. اگر آپ تاریخ میں جب حکومت اس زبان کو کمپلیٹ کر دیا گیا, جب راجہ دوبارہ اپنی جگہ پہ عراق صدیوں عربی تھی, وہ ہمارے بڑے بڑے نے قبضہ کیا جو ہیں عربی میں لکھی ہوئی ہیں مفکر تھے. یہاں پہ ہندوستان کے ایک میں نے ذکر کیا فارسی چلتی تھی, فارسی لوگ فارسی جانتے
میں ایک عمل ہے,
کوئی کوشش ہو رہی ہے ختم کرنے کی, وہ وقت کا ذہن کہ دس از نیور کہ حقیقت لیا جائے کہ مادری زبان آپ نے پڑھانی ہے, اتنا تو نہ کریں.
اس میں یہ ہے اب ایک
لگا کر
کہ سرکاری طور پر لیکن آپ کو نہیں پڑھایا جا رہا, مشرومنگ پر ان اسکولز ہیں اور اس قسم کی کوئی سلیبس کے جو کچھ تو ہیں ہاں آپ ہے کہ لوگ یوز کریں چھوٹے سے
ہوئی ہے اور ابھی پرائیویٹ ہیں پڑھائی جا رہی ہے, لاہور میں بھی ہیں جن دراصل کام ہوتا ہے تک چیز اس کے حق پرائیویٹلی طور پہ ہے کہ بار بار میں نے ذکر کیا جاتی, لیکن آپ ابھی کا آپ میں کریٹ دیکھیں ہندوستان 47 سے پنجاب میں ان کی سرکاری یونیورسٹیز ہیں پنجاب سب کچھ چلتا ہے. باوجود کوئی سرکار لینگویج پلاننگ ہے وہ رسالے انہوں نے پنجابی کو ہم نے دیا. یہ لکھا ہے کہ پنجابی نے پڑھانی تک سمجھ میں نہیں آیا. کوئی آرگومنٹ
نہیں کہیں گے آپ
والی صورت
رام صاحب ایک ہم تھوڑی سی ذرا بھی آپ سے جائے. آپ کا ایک بیک گراؤنڈ ہے, بہت بڑا ایشو ہے پنجابی کے حوالے سے. بتائیے کہ جیسے آپ نے کہا تھا جو اسکرپٹ جو ہے بیسک یہاں پہ شام بہت کام یہاں اردو ہے, اردوائزڈ ہے, پرشنائزڈ جو ہے پنجابی اس پہ کس طرح جب بیٹھتے ہیں
ناٹ اے ویری بگ ایشو. اسکرپٹ صرف اس معاملے کمیونیکیشن کی پہ مشکل پیش آتی ہے, ورنہ ابھی تو وہاں آتی ہے جہاں بھی پنجاب اس میں تو کوئی فرق نہیں, اس میں کوئی شک نہیں. 3-4 سال ایکسپیرینس اور اس کو ہم نے تک دونوں اسکرپٹ وہ شامک میں ہم انڈیا جائیں گے. تیسرے پاس میں مطلب آپ کو نظر ویسٹ پاک آتی تھیں سوائے اس میں بہت دخل ہوتا تھا وہاں سے میں بہت ہم نے دیکھا ہوا تھا کہ اگر ہم تو دل کے مقابلے میں مطلب جب ہے تو وہاں پنجابوں میں کمیونٹی اپنے ایک طریقے.
اچھا اب یہ بتائیں کہ اس وقت جو پنجابی شعرا کون لوگ جو ہیں اور
کسی
آپ کے
کا نام نہیں زیادہ پاکستانی وہ پنجاب کی بات. یہ جو آپ نے بات کی اس کا نتیجہ نکلا ہے بڑے شاعر پنجاب میں پیدا ہوئے, ان کا معروف پاکستان کے اب تک کے پارٹیشن کے بڑا نام شیو کمار بٹا.
جی جی بالکل جو ینگ
اس کی ڈیتھ بھی
مر گئے
لیکن یہاں پہ تھی اس کی. اسی طرح وہاں اور بھی جو بڑے بڑے شارٹ ان کا رائٹر ہیں جو ناول شاعر یہاں پہ بڑے
ایک آدمی کچھ ان کا کام تو تھوڑا بہت سنا بھی بہت اچھی شان پنجابی ہندی بھی بہت اچھی کا کام بہت زیادہ ہے. جی لکھ پہ پنجابی
لیکن کے علاقے سے ہے نا شکر میں ان کا گاؤں تھا
بٹھالوی صاحب,
انہوں نے بڑا پنڈلوٹی گزارے. پہلے 11 سال صاحب پہ بات کام کرنے کا تو وہاں پہ بھیجا گاؤں کے سارے ماحول ہسٹری تاریخ ایک بالکل چلا کہ وہ پاکستان گاؤں جو روایات وغیرہ وغیرہ. تو شیو بھی کار ہوا فیملی کو کہ بٹالے میں ذاتی خیال اور دکھ پایا جاتا ہے. اس میں تھوڑا سا جس زمانے میں وہ کی ہے بہت 60s میں 24 پر ٹھیک ہے نا جہاں پہ پارٹیشن ادھر سود لوگوں کے دلوں میں ہوا, ادھر سود ماحول میں شیو موجود تھا اس میں آیا. یہ سمجھتا ہوں کہ رومانٹک پوئٹ نہیں تھا, جو ماحول تھا تھوڑی سی لوگ جب گیتا سڑک پر اٹھ رو ادھی مائے جو ہیں یہ اب یہاں سے آ گئے کہ وہ گوشے میں کا کہانیاں جو ہر طرح تھی وہ بھی ہوں گی. اس طرح
گفتگو ہے کہ اس پر مزید ہم بات کریں کسی اور انشاءاللہ دوبارہ. بہت بہت شکریہ اس ٹریفک میں جمعے کا اور سفیر ان کی ایسے خصوصاً کی کیا حوالے سے اس وقت سوئز ہیں اور ان چیلنج سے نبرداز. بہت بہت شکریہ. اگلی
to the Voice of America's Nerds.
This word, legally, we're going to a one-of-a-kind